Welcome to Rider Club Radio, the podcast all about Kamen Rider. I'm your host, Jeff.
And I'm Liam.
And today we're going to be talking about Kamen Rider Drive episode 34.
You got the number right on the first try now.
You're right, I didn't even fucking stutter.
Alright.
What happened in today's episode, Liam?
Alright. Episode 34. Okay, we're continuing the plot we learned last time that, 001 isn't actually Drive's father's killer, but who is? Well, they're looking around for that. But while they're wondering that, there's a break-in at a forensics lab, and some shit gets stolen. The gun that killed Tamari's father got stolen. So they're like, it was probably a Roidmude. And then they go to track it down, and they get interrupted by the Roidmude, and they fight it. It's a Roidmude that's fused with a human, right? So it's obviously a human being is involved. Maybe even the guy that killed Drive's dad. And he's fused, and he's got like a hook hand. He's pretty neat design.
He's alright.
So he kicks Drive's ass, and then he runs away. And then they're like, oh god, what do we do?
Well, before that...
Whoa.
Before that, he kicks Drive's ass, but we also get our first real look at the tire mixing ability beyond just having, like, spikes on a tire.
Yeah, we get People Saver.
Yeah, People Saver was awesome. It does all the work of a superhero, and you just hold your arm out and shoot a bunch of fucking tires.
Yeah, what was it?
Done.
It was a Spin Mixer, Fire Braver, and Justice Hunter. And Drive uses all three of them at once, because, that's Type Trideron's thing. He uses 3 tires at once. And he captures the Roidmude, who promptly breaks out, and he heals the people who are... Oh, no, it's Mad Doctor, Fire Braver, and Justice Hunter.
Justice Hunter captures the monster, Mad Doctor heals the victims, and...
Fire Braver stops a guy from falling.
Yep.
Yeah. So we get to see that showcase. It's really neat. I want to see... There's another one later on. They do Construction Site, and that's Spin Mixer, Rolling Gravity, and one fucking other one that I don't remember off the top of my head. But it's nice that they...
It's the drill one, isn't it? Or was that Spin Mixer?
No, that's Rumble Dump. Rumble Dump is the drill. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, right. Rumble Dump was the last one. And Construction Crew was awesome.
Yeah, I love that they... do you think they planned this? Like, they have these theme shift cars.
I don't know. I think this might be something they did on the fly, which makes it even more impressive if they did it, because it works so well together. They're
like, here we have these 3 shift cars that all sort of have something to do with construction. So that's the thing. He's got a construction tire that incorporates all 3 of them. I think it's a fucking cool gimmick. It's definitely a step up from something like Kiwami, where it's just, he uses every weapon whenever he wants. This is like, you mixes it up a little. I like Type Trideron a lot, the more I see it.
Yeah, I do too. I had my reservations about it, which you can go back a few episodes and hear me. But I really warmed up to it, and holy shit, the 3 tires at once thing turned out to be really awesome. I thought it was going to be really lame.
Yeah, you think it's just going to be Kiwami, but 3 at the same time, but it's not. It's got some logic to it. It's a really good...
We got some themes.
Yeah.
We got some themes going.
Yeah, it's a good gimmick. Thumbs up.
But continue on.
Okay, so they get this list of places that 001 was using when he was disguised as the Secretary of Defense. And they're like, alright, let's go check one out. And so they go to one of them, and Hart knows they were there, and he ambushes them there, and they fight him, and then they end up... Hart uses the dead zone, and there's a big fucking row, Brain's there, Medic's there, Chase shows up, everybody fights, and then they leave. And they're like, how did the Roidmudes know we were going to be there? Hart knew we were going to be there, and Brain and Medic all knew we were going to... They ambushed us there, so how the fuck did they figure that out? Well, it turns out... They go to a Roidmude base, and turns out that it was fucking Nira the whole time.
Dun, dun, dun!
Nira was the Roidmude who fused with the Roidmude. Nira was the one who shot fucking Tamari's father, and Nira was the one who tipped off the Roidmudes as to where Tamari was going when he was investigating. Nira did everything. He's Reverse Flash. He did it all.
And I tell you, last episode I told you all that maybe they're gonna pull it off. Maybe they're gonna pull this whole switcheroo with who killed Tamari's father. And they were going to do it well. And I think this payoff was better than it just being 001.
Absolutely. 001 was obvious, right?
Yeah.
We knew, right when that storyline started, we knew, it's going to be 001, it's going to be the big boss Roidmude. We already know. But with this one, we had no idea. It was a real mystery.
And here's the thing. The seeds for this have been in the show for a long time. And you mentioned last time that they were just going to, fucking pull a rabbit out of a hat. Maybe they weren't planning it. They just did it because they wanted to boost the ratings or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty good estimate of their writing ability. But you were wrong.
As usual.
Because, go back to the first time that Tamari Aisuke is brought up. It's Nira who brings him up and says, "You better watch your step, Shinosuke, or you're going to end up just like your father." And we thought he was just being a dickhead, but he was threatening Shinosuke. Because he's the one who did it.
He just, I'm going to fucking kill you just like I killed your dad.
Yeah, and that's why he was fucking laughing about it and everything.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who did it.
How dreadful. It turns out because Nira's in the police force, obviously, just like Tamari's dad. And because Tamari's dad was such a perfect hero all the time, he was like super high rank, everybody loved him, Nira was super jealous of him. So during the chaos of the bank robbery, Nira grabbed the gun and just shot Tamari's dad. He found his chance. And Freeze saw this happening and said, "Oh, you're such a dick, you'd make a perfect host for a Roidmude. So let's team up, I'll cover up all of your involvement in this, and everything will go away, just work for me, and keep just being an irredeemable shithead." So that's how we got the best character in the show. That's his origin story. But when Nira's telling his backstory, he's like, "Oh, I was so jealous of Tamari's dad. I was so envious." And Brain is like, what's this? And he after the whole fight, they fight each other, and again, it ends with them splitting up. There's a lot of those fights in this episode where they try to fight each other, and somebody runs away.
Shinosuke actually defeats Nira in this fight. Well, Nira's Roidmude. He uses Type Rider on, does his finisher, blows the fuck out of the monster. And then Brain shows up and he says, girlfriend.
Yeah, he beats the Roidmude, but Nira gets away. And Brain and Nira, they fuse using the Neo-Viral Core, and Nira's envy immediately allows Brain to attain the ultimate golden paint upgrade.
He becomes one of the promised number.
Yeah, he reaches his final evolution, and then he's like, yeah! And then the episode
He becomes
ends.
Charizard.
Yeah. And then the episode ends. So, Jeff, what do you think of Kamen Rider Drive episode 34?
Like I said before, the reveal that Nira was the one that killed Tamari Aisuke is great. Because I didn't suspect it, even when it showed the little scene where Shinosuke and Captain Honganji give him the new version of the spritzer bottle. Because it didn't seem like they were giving it to him. It seemed like they were just showing that they made this new version or whatever.
That was the trick, because the spritzer bottle had a tracer in it, so they could see when Nira went back to the Roidmude base. That was the trick. They give it to everyone, and not just Nira.
And I really love that the captain had his moment in this episode. He just shows up and he's like, "Hi, you son of a bitch, I'm going to tell you your whole backstory right to your face, because I know it." And he's kind of a badass in that scene, even though he's like 4 feet tall.
Like I said last episode or the episode before, I don't know. It's nice for Honganji to be something other than a clown. To have actually, like, moments that are serious and cool. Because he is the chief of the Special Investigations Unit, right? You want to see him do cool shit.
And he does cool shit this episode. He shows up and he delivers the "I've figured out your plan" speech.
Absolutely. It was nice. It was a great little moment.
And you were really worried for a long while now that Nira's bite was getting taken out of him, and it turned out that his bite was far worse than we ever thought.
Fuck yeah.
He isn't just a piece of shit who gains sexual pleasure from hurting Shinosuke's feelings. He gains sexual pleasure from killing the Tamari family. It was great. I really enjoyed this episode, I gotta say. And I feel like I'm saying this a lot lately, but it surprises me how good Drive is getting.
I think the first half of Drive made me cynical. And then every time they do something new, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be shit. They start this plotline and it's gonna end like all lazy and shit. And then they keep going with it and it's like, oh wait, no, they actually planned it out. They did something a little surprising. It was nice. It was great.
And I think I may have mentioned this before. Maybe we're just fucking retreading all of our old territory. But it really functions like a normal type detective novel or detective series in that the hints are dropped throughout the series. You get like little tidbits of a hint of something that comes back later, and you're like, holy shit, yeah, this was hinted like 10 episodes ago.
And in a show about a Kamen Rider that solves mysteries, that's really, really fucking important.
Yeah, it's really fitting to the theme, and it just keeps I think a big part of why that works for the series is that your sense of keeping up with those little tidbits is dulled because you're so used to nothing happening to begin with.
Yeah, to summarize, Drive has been getting better and better. To summarize that thought.
Who told you to summarize my thought, bitch? I didn't ask you.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm summarizing my thoughts.
How dare you agree with me?
Oh, no!
You piece of shit. I like this episode, is my point.
Yes.
I will give this episode an A+.
Ooh, wow.
And I know by the end of the episode, Liam will be giving this an F, but I give it an A+.
Just cut it off before, like, the 15-minute mark. Before my grade dips below a D, we'll be fine.
What did you think of the episode?
Speaking of agreeing, Jeff, I also really liked this episode, and I went into it ready to hate it. I was expecting to, like, okay, this is when the show loses its steam, this is when the show starts to retread old ground. Oh, we're gonna do the father plot again, and they're gonna draw it out over, like, 15 two-parters. And, again, I was surprised. I should probably stop being such a pessimistic shithead from now on, because Drive's writers have beat that out of me really hard. They've punished me for it on more than one occasion now. And this one especially.
You should stop being like a pessimistic bitch in real life, too.
No, never.
Just saw that coming.
Yeah.
So what do you give this episode since we're rating this shit now?
I give this episode a solid A-.
Wait.
It wasn't a perfect episode. Like I said, it was...
I didn't give it an S rank. I gave it an A+.
Oh, we do S ranks now?
We can do whatever the fuck we want.
I give this episode a K for Kamen Rider.
God, I hate you.
It was a good episode. I liked Heart's super density shift. Every time you think the show has forgotten about density shift, it brings it back once. That's really nice.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, it's a good episode. It's picking up. It's picked up.
I wonder if Hart is going to get his evolution. You know, if I would have picked one of the Roid Mutes to get the ultimate evolution first, besides Freeze, I would have absolutely picked Hart. So it's actually really cool that they kind of bait and switched us and gave us Brain as the first one instead.
I always thought Hart was going to be the first one to die because he was the first one that got beat up a lot. Like, he was the first one that they got dead heat and they used the dead zone and they actually started fighting toe-to-toe equally with Hart.
Liam,
so I was like, okay, he's dead. What?
I'm going to tell you something about Kamen Rider.
What?
If an actor is very, very handsome, he's going to last the whole series. And Hart is the handsomest man.
I'm seeing that now. So Brain this time is the first of that trio, Hart, Brain, and Medic, to reach his ultimate evolution, which means he's going to die very, very soon.
That's true.
And Nira is probably going to die next episode, or at least end up behind bars, I'm sure.
Where he fucking belongs.
Like I said, if they wrap this one up in 1 or 2 episodes and don't string it along for too long, if they wrap this plot line up, I will be very, very satisfied. And you know what? I'm gonna assume that they will, because Drive's writers have been very good to me lately.
Now the show goes downhill.
I've said the magic words. The writers have been good.
The kiss of death in Kamen Rider.
We're at the zenith of the roller coaster, and now it's just fucked.
I can't wait to see where this goes, though. Like, it seems like Nira has all the shit in the palm of his hand next episode. Like, he's going to turn the police force against Kamen Rider somehow. Like, he's going to turn him against the Special Crimes Unit. Which, if you think about it, doesn't make much sense, because he was talking about how they're blaming all of Mikage.
Yeah, Secretary Mikage.
Yeah, all of his plans on Nira. So how is he going to turn it around on the Special Crimes Unit, I wonder? Is it going to be like Gaim, where all you have to do is run up in a crowd and be like, those guys are evil! And everyone believes you?
A really easy smear campaign, yeah. I don't know, we'll have to see. They'll probably do something decent with it. Knowing the Drive writers, they'll probably do something good.
They've been surprising, I'll tell you that much. I had a lot of faith to begin with in the series when I started it, because interviews with the head writer, he mentioned a lot about how much he loved the original Kamen Rider series, and the strong personalities that the characters had. He especially went into heavily into the fact of his love for Rider 2, and how even though he became a Kamen Rider, he never lost his original career as a photographer. it continued to be a plot-relevant point throughout the series. So that gave me faith that he could balance the, like, justice-loving writer style that I loved so much with career man. In this case, a police officer, which seemed to make it even easier. And I wasn't disappointed to begin with.
I was.
I know. But I wasn't psyched about it or anything. But I really feel like my faith has been rewarded.
Yeah, Drive is going to be a show that's kind of hard to recommend because you're going to have to be like, yeah, the first half is fucking garbage, but please just stick with it.
Garbage. I wouldn't call it garbage.
It's certainly harder to watch than the second half. It's something.
It's not like garbage, it's like a mess. It's a mess that you've left on the table.
Okay. It's a mess that they pick up around the 25 episode mark.
And they make it into a beautiful table for you.
Yeah. So that's the episode. Another nifty thing happened this week, which is the reason why our podcast is late, is Overtime subbed Movie Wars Full Throttle, the Guy Mex Drive movie.
Which actually seems like it's maybe a little faster than usual with us getting the movie.
I haven't been timing it. I usually just...
I have. I've been timing it to the second. I'm like, that shit's out in the theater, start the watch.
Get the stopwatch out. But yeah, the Kamen Rider Drive X Guy movie is out and available to watch on Overtime, all subbed in English. So run over there and grab it if you haven't already seen it.
Interestingly enough, it's very much like other Rider X Rider movies in that it's broken into 3 separate portions, where we get singular episodes starring each rider and then a collaboration at the end that comes out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, the first bit is there's a big robot, like a big collective robot named Megahex that lands on God Koda's planet on the other side of the universe, and he brings Koda back to Earth, and he fucking blows Koda up, and then he tries to conquer Earth, and all the Gaim Riders got to deal with it.
At the beginning of the movie, if you're going to go pick this movie up right now, pause this to begin with so you don't hear us spoil the shit out of this movie. But prepare your eyes for, like, the most CG you've ever seen in a Kamen Rider series.
Yes, it's a visual feast, but it's like a visual feast of, like, really salty fast food. You know what I mean? Or, like, you eat it and you're like, oh, it's not good, but I love it.
That is the most apt fucking description I've ever heard of this type of movie.
So you have the Kamen Rider half, which is about them fighting a super robot planet, and
Gaim half.
Gaim half. Fuck me. And then you have the Drive half, which is about Drive fighting a super roid-nude thief called Lupin, Kamen Rider Lupin, no doubt named after Lupin, named after the famous Lupin III from the anime, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, God. Arsène Lupin. Arsène Lupin is the most famous thief in all of fiction. The most. You uncultured swine. Not that Lupin III isn't fucking awesome, by the way. Anyway, he calls himself Ultimate Lupin.
Ultimate Lupin.
And then he becomes Kamen Rider Lupin. And then the third portion of the movie...
Ultimate Lupin gets absorbed by Megahex, and Drive and Gaim have to, like, team up to beat the combo man, and they ride the Trideron. And that's the movie.
That's pretty much what happened. Fucking Fruit Jesus and a policeman drive a car into the Death Star and destroy it.
Whoa, spoilers, buddy.
Who knew there would be spoilers on this fucking podcast?
Jeff, what did you think of Kamen Rider Drive X Gaim Movie Wars Full Throttle?
How long are these titles going to get?
Longer and longer every year.
I'll break this into 3 sections. The first section with Megahex, during that first CG fest, I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? They're just like flinging around the screen with their arms and legs straight out and shit.
I liked that bit.
Did you?
I think I was more pulled in by the fact that this is better special effects than I'm used to seeing with Kamen Rider. With movies, there's always a bit of like a higher budget for CG and stuff like that, so when someone flies around, like when someone flies around in the show, it looks really cheap. Yeah. And when someone flies around in the movie, it looks a little less cheap. Yeah. So there's a bit of a wow factor, like, wow, it actually, like if I squint my eyes and unfocus, it looks like they're actually flying around fighting. It's really nifty.
I think the big difference is they don't put the gray filter over everything in the movies.
Yeah. Well, it looked pretty good.
The Megahex is the Borg. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way.
Yeah,
if you've ever seen Star Trek, Megahex is the Borg.
Like, he's a robot, but if you blow him up, he's a collective mind in a million other machines and robots.
And they assimilate worlds to create duplicates or whatever, and they can create duplicates of people. It's very Borgy.
Yeah, it's if you've seen Star Trek.
But Megahex is actually really cool looking as well. Like, it's a really nifty suit. And the way that Megahex fights is pretty cool. So, you get a pretty cool villain out of it. Although, you're not particularly... I wasn't, anyway, particularly drawn in to the Megahex. I thought a lot of touches were really neat. Like, the Megahex homeworld was attacked by Helheim in the same way that Earth was, and whatever the fuck that planet was when you go into Helheim in Gaia.
Yeah.
And they digitized their entire world in order to escape Helheim, and decided that the best way to protect the universe from Helheim was to digitize all of it, so they could all be one being.
That's true. Plants can't murder computers. They just go in and nothing they can do.
That's the rock, paper, scissors of the real world.
I thought Megahex was pretty cool. I like that he looks like a wizard ring on his chest. He looks like he's got a big wizard ring stuck on him.
That's true.
Did you think that? I remember.
I think that now.
I remember when we first got set photos of Megahex, someone was like, "Who the fuck is this?" And everyone was responding like, "Is that a wizard ring? Oh God, are we never going to escape this series?" It's like a wizard ring monster. It really looks a lot like it, but no,
it does.
It's not a wizard monster. He's got a cool suit. I agree. I like it.
Yeah, during the first part, Coda gets fucking murked at the beginning. And then all the other Gaim characters are like, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do?" You know? And if you don't remember from the ending of Gaim, Michi is the only character in the entire series who has a belt anymore.
Yeah.
So he's our hero.
All the others got blowed up in the final arc.
He's our hero, and he does not go from zero to hero in this movie. He goes from sidekick to also sidekick.
Yeah, I liked...
And the real hero is Takatora.
I liked the Gaim half of the movie because it was like... It almost reminded me of like one of those cliche Marvel movies where it's like all these people gotta like team up and learn to work together to beat the big bad world-destroying alien guy. That's and as cheesy and kind of overplayed as that premise is, I still like it. And seeing it applied to Kamen Rider was novel to me.
Yeah, I think my favorite part of the Gaim half of the movie, or the Gaim third of the movie, is the fact that the characters are really struggling throughout the whole movie. It's like an uphill battle, and every single step is like agonizing for them, because they start out, all they have is a Sengoku driver, like the weakest weapon.
The fucking grape one, too. It doesn't...
Yeah. And the only rider they have is Michi, who's never won a fight in his life except killing his own brother. You know?
Yeah, Michi is an unlikely hero. He's sort of the... I don't say this is a redemption arc for him. It should have been. That would have been a really nice theme for the movie. It wasn't. But he makes it okay.
He tries. He attempts to redeem himself, and I think if Gaim taught us anything about Michi, it's that nothing he does will ever matter, and he will die alone. But anyway, we get the return of Professor Ryoma as Bane, which is a joke that's been done a million times, but it's fucking true. No, he's like got the mask and everything.
He comes back. They use this really... I don't know if I like this. I guess it's as good a justification as you can get, is that Megahex, when he tries to absorb Coda, when he's a god, and he absorbs all of his memories, so he uses Coda's memories to create Ryoma as a cyborg, and he brings back Baron briefly, he brings back Kaido, and he brings back some Pinecone soldiers, and when you beat these people, they drop their Sengoku drivers, and then you grab them, so that's how they get more Sengoku drivers, and they even get a Genesis driver from Ryoma.
Dude, you gotta loot the corpses.
Yeah, it's a smart thing that not a lot of Kamen Riders do.
Yeah, just loot the corpses. They learn from video games.
What did you think of Ryoma's new costume? both of his new costumes, his cyborg outfit and his dragon fruit energy arms.
I've been hearing a lot of people actually complaining about Dragon Fruit Energy Arms, saying it looks kind of lame, but I thought it looked pretty awesome, personally. I thought it was like a really cool update to his Duke look, because the helmet's pretty much a recolor of Duke, and everything else about the suit is completely different.
Yeah, everything from the neck down. Like, the arms are totally different from Lemon, that's for sure.
And I really love, like, the dragon wings, like the scale cape that he has.
Kamen Riders with capes, for me, are just like, fucking love that shit.
And his worked perfectly with his suit. It didn't look like it was just tacked on.
Yeah. That said, I love capes. That said, I think I may have to agree with the masses here that Dragon Energy looks kind of lame.
I liked it.
I don't know. It looks like it's got a big goofy face on the chest.
It does. It looks like one of the first time I saw it, I thought it looked like one of, like, the Rider Lockseeds.
Yeah.
With just, like, a helmet on the chest.
He's got a big mad face, like, all the time on the front of his chest. It just, I don't know, it looks a bit silly. The color scheme, like that, I don't know. Like, the red on the cyan, I don't know, man.
What is it like to have such bad taste, Liam?
It's pretty sick. It's really awesome, actually. It's a privilege.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's great or anything. I'm not even saying it's in, like, the top 10 suits in Gaim. We had, like, 10 suits, didn't we? It's not in the top 10.
Yeah, there was way more than 10 suits in Gaim, but yeah.
Yeah. It's not in the top 10, is what I'm saying. It's not in, like, the bottom 8 or whatever.
Well, I have not ranked all of the Gaim suits in my head, so I couldn't tell you. Not yet.
Oh, I have. I've ranked all the main character smiles.
Who's number one?
The number one smile is Coda.
Really?
He has a beautiful, radiant smile.
He's no...
Like, think about when he's opening the lock seat over and over.
That's true. He's no Kusaka, but he's got an okay smile.
Oh, God.
Anyways, go on. What did you think of the end of the Gaim bit?
The end of the Gaim bit where everybody's, like, fighting together. Well, first off, when the digital Kaido is made, that is a great moment when he turns around and slashes the shit out of Megahex.
Yeah.
That was a great moment.
Like, even if I'm your robot slave soldier, fuck you. I'm the edgelord. I don't work for anyone.
Everyone's ideals are meaningless. Everyone but me.
Pure Kaido.
That was great. And then everybody works together as a team, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's good. What did you think of the drive half, though? The one with Lupin.
Lupin is so lame.
Yeah.
Like, everything about him is so cheesy and lame, and it's not really played up for laughs. Like, you're supposed to think he's really cool, but he's really lame.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I wanted to like Lupin a lot. I wanted to like his suit. I wanted to like him, but he's just like... Lupin just isn't a very threatening guy. He's not a cool villain. No. He doesn't have much of a personality other than, like, oh, I'm a suave thief, but I'm not a super likable suave thief.
Yeah, like, I'm an unlikable suave thief who gets angry because Kamen Rider's a cop.
Like,
that's his personality.
I'm not saying you have to like the villain too, but I'm saying, like, he's just like, I don't think he's a good villain. He's a bit lame. I would take a soulless Megahex super planet robot over him.
Yeah, he's played up like he's supposed to be Shinosuke's rival, and that could have been so cool, you know? Like the ultimate thief versus, like, the ultimate Kamen Rider detective, you know?
Yeah.
It could have been really cool. But, you know, Shinosuke has his, like, justice-filled personality, you know, and he has his goofy side or whatever. And Lupin has his generic fucking thief personality.
Yeah, he doesn't bring... Like, despite the fact you think a thief Kamen Rider would have something interesting about him, like, bring something new to the table, other than, like, the usual gentleman thief trope, he's like, oh, also he can transform into a fucking supervillain. You think that might add something, but I don't know, he feels really generic.
He does. And I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised that he wasn't... The one thing I did like about him, and that pleasantly surprised me, as I said, is that he gave up the title of Kamen Rider immediately after he got defeated. He was just like, you are great, you're worthy to be my rival or whatever. I like it when that happens instead of, I'll never give it up, I'll kill you all, as he's dying.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I just don't think he lived up to his potential, really, because I was excited for this portion of the movie, because I love like a gentleman thief versus like a great detective, or even a not so great detective, like Lupin III versus Zenigata. I love that kind of trope, and it just didn't really hit the bar.
Yeah, the villain could have been written better, but what do you think about the rest of it? The rest of the part?
It didn't really draw me in all that much. There's this moment where there's like a locked room mystery for like 4 seconds, where they're in the church, and he's like, Ultimate Lupin is one of you, and the captain's like, oh, that's so cool, I've always wanted to say that! Yeah. That was great. And not so great is when it turns out to be Kiriko, and instead of transforming back to his normal form, he pulls off a fake mask and then jumps towards the screen, and he's Lupin again.
That's the sickest part in the whole fucking... You're a roid me. You can disguise yourself as anybody, but no, I'm going to use a latex mask, and apparently a bodysuit that gives me the same figure as Kiriko.
Oh no, that's the thing. He wasn't wearing a bodysuit during it. He doesn't throw the suit off or anything. He just jumps and then he's in his costume again.
Well, no, I think...
So he was just wearing the fucking outfit and nobody noticed.
The implication was that he must have been wearing something, because the guy doesn't have the same figure as Kiriko. He has to...
He's got a sexy lady body.
How do you know? You seen Lupin naked?
Maybe.
Oh.
You don't know what life I lead.
Oh.
Like how you went from disgusted to intrigued. Yeah, it didn't live up to my standards, is what I'm saying, this movie.
I'll have to disagree with you about the drive part. I think I liked this movie a lot more than most people did. I liked it a lot more than Sengoku Movie Battle from last year. Holy shit. Fuck that movie. Maybe we'll talk about that at a later date, but I like the drive.
Well, we'll have to get to that at some point.
Yeah.
I didn't like dislike the drive portion. I was just really amped up waiting for the crossover bit.
Yeah.
I think. So I didn't really get into that part of the story all that much.
I
Although I will say, I'm really intrigued about who this white Kamen Rider is.
Oh yeah, he shows up.
I really want to know what he's all about.
Yeah, he's so mysterious with the way he's like, oh, it's just beginning, hey?
He rides off on his motorcycle at the end, and did you notice? It looks like Machine Chaser's motorcycle, but white.
I'm really excited to see this guy appear in the show. I'm wondering what he's going to bring to the table. It's going to be cool.
I wonder if his name is said the same way it's spelled, like normal.
I'll be the first to agree with you that Lupin was a really lame villain. He didn't... Like, I wasn't engaged with Lupin, even Megahex. Like, it's not like Megahex had a personality, but he was a cool, threatening force, right? Lupin was just a thief, and he wasn't a cool thief. I'll agree with you there. But I liked most of the rest of it. There was good action scenes. I liked the bit where the belt is broken, and Shinosuke's gotta save Kiriko. She's, like, been webbed to a building, and he, through sheer force of will somehow, he's, like, skydiving, and the belt starts working, and he lands and fucking catches Kiriko in the Trideron, and jumps up and gets her, and Lupin's escaping in the balloon.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. The CGI balloon bit was kind of ridiculous.
Well,
like, when he jumps up on the balloon from the church and starts floating away, I was like, holy fuck, that's ridiculous. And I was like, well, in the back of my head, I was like, well, at least I don't have to see that shit again. They'll cut to something else.
Nope.
And then they fight on the fucking balloon for the rest of the movie.
Bad special effects in Kamen Rider?
Fuck you. It wasn't the special effects. It was that he jumped on a fucking balloon with a cage hanging under it.
So he had it set up. He's a master thief. He plans for all contingencies. Well, I need to escape the scene by air just in case they lock me in the church.
Hey, Special Crimes Unit, come and hang out at this church that has a balloon with a fucking chain link fence underneath it hanging out above it.
Please don't mind the hot air balloon. But no, I thought Lupin was lame, but I thought the actual plot was fine. Mock's appearance was a bit jarring, but, you know, buy our toys. You can't get around that. The climax was really cool. It was a good part. Not as good as the Gaim part, but I liked it.
Yeah, I can agree with that in a way. I just didn't like it as much as you did.
Okay. What did you think of the crossover part, though? The real important bit.
Every single moment that Koda and Shinosuke are on screen together is gold.
Absolutely.
I love their interaction so much.
It's what you came to see, really. You want to see them talk.
It really is. And they just play off each other so well because they're just both big fucking goofballs.
Yeah, they're both goofballs who don't understand each other, or like what each other's powers are supposed to be, because they're so different, and they're all like, they're looking at each other like, wow, you're fucking weird. Like, there's a line when they first meet each other, my favorite line in the whole movie, when Drive, like, jumps in next to Koda and starts fighting these, like, Roidmudes and Inves and all the things that Megahex has summoned, and Koda stops fighting and is staring at Drive, and he's like, man, you got a tire stuck on you. You okay there? He's got like a fucking tire shoved through his chest, and Gaim's like, buddy, you hanging in there?
I love that Drive looks at him and he's like, what are you supposed to be? And he's like, I think I've become a space god?
And Drive's like, whoa,
Drive's like, god?
That's what a space god looks like? It's like, when I watched it, I was like, fuck, I wish the actual Movie Wars movies had more of this, had more of the characters meeting each other and just talking and interacting instead of just fighting each other. And I know you can't have it because you can't get the actors back, but in a perfect world without war or world hunger, that's what I would like to see at a Movie Wars.
Yeah, me too. And their interactions just continue to get better throughout the movie as well. Like, they become, like, the bestest of buddies by the end of the movie.
When they're trying out each other's powers after they get the fruit shift car and the Drive lock seed, and Koda's got the steering sword, and Drive runs up and goes, yo, try this, and he turns the wheel, and Koda's like, what the fuck? What? He's, like, flying all over the place.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
What is happening?
I'm sorry! And he's, like, hitting everything with the fucking sword.
My favorite part in the whole movie, I'd already seen in the preview. It's when they're wearing their big fucking bulky-ass armor where they're using each other's powers and they try to get in the Trideron and can't.
Yeah.
So they transform back to normal.
Because Drive's got the big hat and Gaim's got the big shit on his shoulders. And God, what a great...
And Type Fruits is actually really cool looking to me.
Yeah.
I think it looks great.
Yeah. I think...
The Drive Lockseed looks like shit, though.
I'll agree with you on
As
that
all Rider Lockseeds do.
Yeah, unequivocally, every Rider form, every Rider arms is just like this big lame mess. Okay, not all of them. We saw the mock-ups. Some of them are pretty cool, but a lot of them...
Some of them could have been cool.
Well, on the right Rider, they're cool. But a lot of them are like, oh god, like number 1, Ichigo arms, holy shit.
But Drive and Gaim's interactions are great. I've said that like a million times, but it can't be stressed enough.
They're the reason you watch the movie, for sure. They're the best part.
I think one of my favorite things is the fact that they don't fight each other to begin with. They show up and he's like, hey, I'm Kamen Rider Drive. And he's like, I'm a Kamen Rider Gaim. And they're like, oh shit, you're a Kamen Rider? Let's fucking fight these guys together. We're both Kamen Riders.
Yeah, it reminds me of the exact opposite of when they did the Drive and Ninja crossover.
Yeah.
When Drive bumps into the Ninjas and he's like, oh, you guys must be bad guys. I'm going to beat you up now. And it's like, what? Yeah, this detective is just going to start fighting people without figuring out what's going on. Great. I love it.
They just become friends really quick. And Drive is like, yeah, you guys are cool. I'm going to hang out with you. And that's
right off the bat.
Cool to see. For a change.
There is a huge CGI sequence with like a big Death Star trench run in a souped up sports car, and they blow up Megahex from the center, and it's a good finish. There's good little writing moments, good action, comparatively good CG to the show. I really like the third segment.
Yeah, the third segment was great, and the third segment has better CGI than the first segment as well. I think because it's in a darker place.
Yeah, it's out in space, so you can't see.
Yeah, it's easier to hide, like, imperfections when everything's a lot darker.
Yeah.
But that scene is actually really action-packed, and it's so action-packed that Drive and Gaim never stop yelling the whole time.
I like Gaim is backseat driving behind Drive. He's like, go left, no right, no up. And It was like I said, there's 1,000,001 really, really great moments between Kota and Tamari that you gotta see.
It really makes you just want to see like a series of the two of them going on adventures together. They actually have really good chemistry.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Not like Kota and, I know I won't fucking get off this, but not like Gaim and Wizard, where they had none.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Wizard had no fucking personality to go up against, you know? There was nothing to play off of.
Yeah, Wizard had no chemistry with anybody ever.
Well, the less we say about that, the better, probably.
So, Movie Wars Full Throttle, thumbs up?
Yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up. I'm usually, like, hypercritical of the movies, and if we talk more about the movies, you'll see that.
Yeah.
Because I expect something out of a lot of these movies, and they're not really made to be something. They're made to get you to buy toys and to be like, look at all these awesome action figures we can bring out at one time.
Yeah.
And those are more like the Movie Wars type movies.
Yeah.
Inescapable, they are.
It's like, it's a business. It's unrealistic to expect them to stop. We just have to live with it.
So when we get a good movie, I'll sing its praises, though. And Full Throttle's actually a good movie. I think it's worth watching.
Absolutely. This is one of the best I've seen. I tend to stray away from Rider movies like The Plague, so I haven't seen a lot of shitty ones. This is one of the best ones I've seen. I like it a lot.
Were we asked about Rider movies? I feel like we were.
We were, but we'll get to that. We have a lot of shit to talk about beforehand.
What do we have to talk about beforehand?
Okay, this week, Toei held a press conference talking about Drive and Ninja Summer movies. And a lot of details about the Ninja Summer movie were revealed, but who cares about that shit? A lot of details. Super Sentai fans. A lot of details. We got a ton of information about Kamen Rider Drive's surprise future. That movie you remember where Dark Drive comes from the future?
Oh, I remember it.
Okay, so let's go through this one at a time. We have Super Dead Heat Drive was revealed. We have...
Yeah, Super Dead Heat Drive. Let's
give
talk about these one at a time.
Yeah, one at a time.
As we get to it.
Okay.
Super Dead Heat Drive, if you haven't seen a picture of it, we retweeted Tokusatsu Network image on our Twitter. It's fucking Machine Chaser with red paint on it and a different helmet.
Yep. I don't know what I was expecting.
The thing is, Dead Heat is just two fucking suits plastered together. When Super Dead Heat was announced as something that was going to happen, I was pretty sure it was just going to be two suits slapped together. And boy, was I fucking right.
Well, I thought maybe it would be an extension of regular Dead Heat, like it's Drive and Mach, but it's stronger, maybe?
No, Dead Heat is whatever we fucking have left over that we're not using right now.
It sticks with the theme of combination. You gotta respect that, at least. But it's just...
I don't have to respect shit.
Okay. It's just a combination between Drive and Chase, and instead of Drive and Mach, which looks bad.
Yeah,
Not
bad.
very good.
I was gonna say bad. See, that's the thing. I understand that there's a certain budget that needs to be kept in a Kamen Rider series. You have to stay within a certain suit budget. But this series is reusing everything. Do we need to reuse everything?
Well, I mean, they gotta fucking do all the special effects with the Trineron. You gotta cut corners somewhere.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, but I'm not, like, hating on it or anything, but I'm kind of hating on it.
The suit it's not horrible. Like, the red color scheme...
It's not tight technique.
Yeah, the red color scheme on Machine Chaser doesn't look dreadful, and the helmet, they've painted it a nice, like, red and black, so that it's a combination between Drive and Chaser, just like the body is. But, man, it just doesn't look that great. It's really just like they screwed the head off an action figure and put it onto another action figure.
It looks mismatched.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it belongs together whatsoever.
Yeah. I don't know,
We're like the fucking fashion police on this podcast.
When it comes to toku suits, this shit's important, okay?
It is. The way a character looks, it really makes you figure out what you're going to buy, you know?
Yeah, it determines toy sales. So it's a big part. After that, we've got the plot detail that Dark Drive is Shinosuke's son from the future, Tomari Eiji. What'd you think about that shit?
I thought it'll be really cool to see Tamari Eiji come from the future and kill Metal Frieza and King Cooler.
Fuck you.
I'm sorry. It's just the first thing I thought of. I was like, does everything in Japan have someone's son come from the future?
Spoilers for Dragon Ball, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, spoilers from a series from 20 fucking years ago.
Maybe there's like 2 people that don't know what happens in Dragon Ball. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I ruined your immersion. I
think this adds another level of depth to Dark Drive that I wasn't expecting, and that I hope will come out a little better in the movie. My hopes might be dashed. I'm still allowed to be pessimistic about the movies.
That's true.
Not about the show.
Tamari Eiji is actually coming from the future to stop some evil horse shit that went down with Krim Steinbelt.
Yeah, Krim. There's we have Dark Drive, who's Drive's son, and then we have Dark Krim, who is just Chris Pepler done up like Tony Stark, wearing.
He's always done up like Tony Stark. He just looks like
the
that.
guy looks a fucking lot like Tony Stark, and
so. For some reason, evil Chris Pepler comes back to the past to stop regular face on a belt Chris Pepler from becoming evil, no. Even though he's evil.
This is the thing. The set pictures of Chris Pepler are him wearing the Drive Driver.
What?
And he can turn into Type Trideron. And you know when Krim takes over Type Trideron and it's got the belt eyes, he can turn into Type Trideron, and it's like that all the time. So it's Krim wearing Krim, using the Trideron.
Is that masturbation?
I don't know. It's something awful. It's
fucking
like
Chris Pepler signed that contract. He was like, I have a stipulation in here that says I get to be Kamen Rider at some point.
My lifelong dream. Like I've said,
I want to say nice drive to myself.
Oh God. I said this with Kabuto, and I say it now. If you introduce time travel to a series anytime after the very beginning, you're gonna get fucked. Everything is gonna get fucked. Like it is right now. That's weird. I look forward to the explanation. Genuinely.
How do you explain that to people outside of the Kamen Rider circle? Like, this guy's just wearing a belt with himself in it.
A lot of people
ask
questions about how to explain Kamen Rider to non-Kamen Rider fans. Don't try.
It's Power Rangers.
Yeah, it's superhero. He transforms. He's got armor like Iron Man, I guess. I don't know. Watch it. Thrust a DVD in their hand and then walk away before they can ask any questions.
That's a good way to make somebody not like Kamen Rider. They come back, what the fuck was this?
Well, if they're cool, they'll like it, maybe. The most important detail about the movie, Kamen Rider Ghost is going to have a cameo.
Yeah, we finally get the next Rider cameo that we've all been waiting for. We can finally see what this motherfucker looks like, what he can do.
And we don't have to wait for a sub to see it either. The second that shit's on film, someone's going to take a photo of it. And then I get to see what the suit looks like.
Maybe we could get, like, some sneak peek raws, like the thing, like somebody in a theater with a shaky camera or something.
I'm sure.
Don't do that, it's illegal. But do that.
We're not advocating it, but we are.
I want to see. I'm so psyched.
I'm hyped too.
After all the fucking jokes about it, I can't see Kamen Rider Ghost as not just a guy with a sheet on with 2 holes in it. I want to see what he actually looks like.
Man, I'm getting hyped up, and if the suit looks bad, I'm going to be depressed for like a week. You're going to hear me next week on the podcast, I'm like, hey guys, welcome
to whatever the fuck this is. Who cares? The next show's going to be shit anyway.
I quit life.
So tune in next week and hear Liam's fucking suicide.
Oh, man. I'm cautiously optimistic about Ghost's suit. I hope it's good.
Cautiously optimistic about something we have no inkling about how it's going to look like whatsoever. Hopefully it's good.
Hopefully it's good. I have middling hopes. There's also
Your hopes are raising here.
There's also, I'll post a summary of the entire press event if you want all the nitty-gritty details. I'll get all that. That's all from our buddies at the Tokusatsu Network, who do a lot of...
buddies who don't know we exist.
They'd be our buddies if they knew us, surely. Shoutouts to the Tokusatsu Network. We love all the legwork you do to get all this news.
Yeah, if it wasn't for you, we'd have nothing during this segment right now. So this is brought to you by the Tokusatsu Network.
Yeah.
We got all the spandex that you'll ever need.
Grando sponsor, no Deikyo Day, Okarishimasu. Tokyo Tokusatsu Network.
That was fucking horrible.
Just fucking kill me right now. Okay. Wait, hang on. A little bit more news.
Alright.
You know those plush Murmur Mansion toys that sit on top of Q's desk?
I've always wanted some.
Wow. Well, your time is now, Jeff, because they're fucking making them.
Holy shit, where's my wallet?
Yeah, they're making little plush, cute little Murmur Mansion toys, so you can buy them and you can be a big fucking loser, just like Q.
Yeah, you too can buy plush toys from a show that doesn't exist. Enjoy.
I think it's the same pull that the little Kamen Rider gimmick toys have, as like you get something that's actually in universe, like an in universe item. I think that's cool. I think there's something to be said.
I think that's a really cool idea. It's just something that's really fun and neat. I'm sure they didn't produce like 1 billion of them in the same way they produce shift cars or whatever.
Yeah. It's just for the ones who are like, who want that sort of thing, who just thought the Murmur Mansion things were cute. If you did, your time is now.
This could also kind of be a last-ditch effort to try and boost up the sales of Drive's toys, because Drive didn't do as well as Gaim, like even half as well.
Really? Was it that bad? I heard it was...
I'm not sure. I'm just like throwing out figures here. I've just heard that Drive isn't living up to Gaim. There was like a drop-off.
I heard it was weak, but I didn't know exactly how weak.
Yeah, I don't either. But these Murmur Mansion dolls might be a way of being like, hey, throw that hat in the ring one last time.
I don't know if that's going to tip the scales for a lot of Rider fans, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll have to come back to toy sale figures at the end of the series, see how that worked out.
We'll have to actually look it up and find out about it.
God, the work. Just get TokuNet to do it. They'll do it.
Just have them do everything for us. They can just do this podcast.
Yeah. Get them on here. One last little tiny wedding. Oh my, I just gave it away. You
spoiled it in the first sentence.
Liam
and I are getting married.
Finally, you may have heard about this in the rumors. No, one last little tiny news story. A fan of Kamen Rider had a wedding recently, and they got all their friends to dress up as a bunch of Kamen Riders. There's Rider 1, there's Rider 2, there's Ixa for some reason, there's Kuga, you got
people
Double.
Like Ixa.
Real people, I don't know, his suit's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, his name is Shafiq Mansour, and he loves Kamen Rider, and he had a really neat wedding. So check those pictures out. I'll post those.
Also, weirdly, Dark Kabuto was there, but not Kabuto.
Yeah, Dark. You can see Dark. There's one of the pictures. I'm looking at it right now. It's like a table. They're all sitting there, and fucking Dark Kabuto has a cup of water in his hand, and it just looks. That's great. It's like, should I dress up as Kabuto, or should I dress up as Dark Kabuto? I think I already know the answer to this question.
Well, he went to the fucking store to get that costume, and they were like, oh, we sold out of Kabuto like 10 years ago. We still got like 20 Dark Kabuto costumes in the bag.
Well, you gotta make do with what you can get.
It was certainly cheaper, I'm sure.
Dark Kabuto, that's fucking... I want Dark Kabuto at my wedding. And he'd try and steal my bride and take her to the end of time and space.
Yeah, man, he was fucking tempting fate, wasn't he?
Anyways, that's a fun little thing.
Let's move on to news.
Let's move on to letters, you mean?
No, I have more news.
You have
it's
more
called
news?
Letters.
Oh, I thought you were going to surprise me for a second.
Oh, I don't do anything. Anyway,
okay.
Our first email is from Weeyon is the email name. Hey, Jeff and Liam. Really enjoying your podcast and the random shit that goes on there. Thank you.
Thanks.
I am also coincidentally named Jeff, so feel free to send me an invitation to replace Jeff. I'm fucking done. See ya. Bye.
Yeah, get in touch with me, please, Jeff. I guess I'll read the rest of the mail. I'm apparently solo.
So I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on the worst Kamen Rider movie and the reason why? What do you got, Liam?
A lot of movie talk this episode. Now, like I said before, I avoid Kamen Rider movies like they're made of lava. I don't like to touch a lot of them. But the worst one I've seen, of the ones I've seen, Heisei vs. Showa, I think, takes that crown. That movie was fucking awful.
I agree.
I'm not going to go super into details like we did with Movie Wars Full Throttle, but Heisei vs. Showa is exactly what it sounds like. All the Heisei riders fight all the Showa riders. And
for no reason.
And it's a shitty reason. It sounds cool. It sounds awesome. Heisei vs. Showa is the biggest pile of wasted premise in the history of Kamen Rider. It had the potential to be so cool, and it starts with this 5-minute action scene where it's like, oh, here's Kabuto fighting stronger, and here's them using their cool powers against each other and how they use it. Oh, and then Sky Rider shows up and he fights Fourze, and then Gaim runs across Jay's hand, and this is what you want. The sick matchups. Well, there's no more. You saw them all in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and now it's just all this shit about Badan and a kid who can turn things inside out, and it's just a big mess, and it's not what you come for.
There is a clusterfuck of a battle scene at the end.
Yeah, but it's...
where it's just people, like, barely kicking each other for, like, 5 minutes at a distance.
The cool thing about the opening scene is they're using their powers. Like, Forze's got rocket states, and he's flying around while Jay is using his jumbo formation, trying to swat him out of the air. And it's like, you want to see how they, like, really fight each other, how they really do it. Kabuto cheats with Clock Up to just destroy Stronger, and it's like, yeah! That's what I fucking came for. It's Heisei versus Showa, but what you get is Heisei and Showa versus Badan, and it's like, oh, it's just a really limp, like, it's a lie. It's not a movie, it's a lie.
It is a lie on celluloid.
What's your least favorite Rider movie, Jeff?
I don't even have to think about this, because I've held it in my heart since the moment the fucking credits started rolling. And it's All Riders versus Die Shocker.
Oh, that's an infamous one.
That movie is fucking garbage. If you need any hint about how bad that movie is, fucking Gact plays Rider Man in it.
The infamous Gact.
He plays... There's like a moment after Gact does his fucking crybaby ass, I'm Rider Man, my arm's a robot bullshit. Like, later on in the movie, the regular Rider Man shows up, and I'm just pointing at the screen like, is that fucking Gact? Is that Gact? Is that still him? What the fuck is going on? And it's just this fucking lazy-ass bullshit. Like, Decade is suddenly the leader of Die Shocker. That's his real fucking ID. And oh god, Kuga has to fight him and stop him, and he has another ultimate form.
Oh, Rising Ultimate, that... Ugh.
In the Kuga series, his ultimate form, it's a reason it's called fucking Ultimate.
It's the final, yeah.
And in universe, it has a very specific fucking purpose, you know? So it just shits all over that. They're like, who the fuck even watched that show anyway? Paint that shit gold.
I've seen Rising Ultimate Kuga, and it is a crime. Rising Ultimate Kuga should be banned by the Geneva Convention. It's so... Ugh.
Rising Ultimate Kuga's like, paint that shit gold, bigger spikes. It's done.
It's not just bigger spikes. It's stick blobs of gold on the outside of Ultimate Kuga. And Ultimate Kuga looks good. It's sleek. Mm-hmm. Rising Ultimate Kuga is just, you stick Play-Doh on it and ugh.
It's clunky as fuck.
Yeah.
And there's this, like, fated ultimate showdown between Rising Ultimate Kuga and Decade. And, of course, Decade slaps his fucking shit because he beats everybody all the time.
Because Decade's perfect and he's the best, and
And Decade decides all on his own that he's not really going to be the leader of Die Shocker or whatever. And then all the riders kick the Fog Mother because why the fuck not? Should she not be there? Zeto was a great movie, right?
Yeah. Well,
it's actually Jay that the Fog Mother's from.
Jay was the alien invasion.
They look exactly the same, who fucking cares? No, Jay's a great movie.
Jay throwback is nice. I like Jay a lot.
Yeah, they fucking rider kick a pyramid, and that's the end of the movie.
10 out of 10.
Also, Tackle comes back for 5 seconds and gets murdered.
I've seen Decade Tackle. I don't like her that much. The suit's nice. I don't like that it's got hair hanging down.
It was pretty much like... who can we bring back for this? We've brought back every rider ever for these fucking things. How about Tackle? Alright, just resurrect her. What are we going to do with her? Kill her again. Spoiler alert.
Spoilers. This is the
spoiler cast.
This is the spoiler cast for the entire Kamen Rider series, in case you missed it.
It's fucking hot garbage on top of a landfill filled with the corpses of all your loved ones. It's a fucking terrible movie, and I hate it.
Wow, that's a pretty extreme review.
I don't like it. 0 out of 10.
I'll watch it one of these days. I will watch all of the really shitty Rider movies.
God.
So that's our answer. That's our answer for that. Next email, we got one from Alex. And Alex says, "Hey guys, first I wanted to say I really like your podcast. Sick. You got good taste.
Thanks.
Secondly, it sounds to me like Liam hasn't seen Double yet. I understand he just started Kuga, as did I about a week ago, but you need to get him the fuck on Double ASAP. No."
I will crack that fucking whip.
No,
You're missing out, man. Double is great. Where is Double on your list? You have a list.
This is my list right now. Okay, Kuga right now, then Agito, then Amazon, then Double O's and Forze.
That's a decent list.
Yeah, I'm working my way through.
You can't blame them for wanting to go back to the roots.
Yeah, Double is a series that everybody and their mother has been telling me to watch from the very beginning, and I'll get to Double. It's not that I don't think it's going to be good. It looks awesome. But I just want to save it. I want to save it a little bit longer. I want to, space out the ones that I'm really excited for. So Double's on there. It's just a little bit... I know a lot of people are going to say the same about Forze. I haven't seen Forze either. Forze will come. Forze's day will come after O's. So, stick it out.
Man, you haven't seen Forze? What is wrong with you?
Yeah, Jeff. I don't know what's the matter with me.
We've actually inspired one of our viewers to fucking, shotgun view Kuga and Ryuki back to back.
She watched Ryuki in, a week. What a hero.
Yeah. We'll get to get your question another time, because we're fucking over an hour now.
Doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter. We have one last question. And it's from number one superfan, Cyberman Worf.
If ever there was a number one Superman of Rider Club Radio, it was Cyberman Worf.
The fan that stands above all others in the art of writing emails. He says, "Hello, you guys again. Still enjoying these podcasts. Thanks for staying in the game."
Give it 5 or 10 more. That'll fade away. Don't worry.
My question for this week is that do you think there will come a point where they have a rider crossover between the pre-decade Heisei riders and the post-decade Heisei riders fighting each other for some arbitrarily dumb reason? I would say pre-decade might win that one if it did happen. With regards. Yes, now that I've read that, I am absolutely fucking sure that's going to happen.
Yeah, I didn't think it would happen before, and... Because I hadn't thought of the idea, but now that I have it presented in front of me, that absolutely sounds like something Toei would do. And they'd have a Kuga Loxy or whatever gimmick they have going around by the time they hit the 20th Heisei Rider. And it'll be shitty movie, just like Heisei vs. Showa.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason for them fighting will be dumb.
There was actually a question we got, it might have been last episode, where somebody asked if we thought they were going to do a double decade, at 20. This might be what they do at 20. They'll do a season of pre-Heisei versus post-Heisei or something, if not a movie.
Is there a word for 2 decades? Like a techade? Is there a two-cade?
You're making all the words, man. You're doing a good...
Kamen Rider.
You're Englishing so
Kamen
good
Rider
right now.
2K. Maybe someday.
Write in to tell us how much of an idiot Liam is.
No, please. They already do that a lot. The answer is yes. You're probably right, Cyberman Worf.
I would put real fucking American dollary dues down.
And as to who would win, definitely post decade Heisei, because that would be the one that contained the rider that had the currently airing show and the currently on the shelf toy line. So
yeah, whoever the newest was would win. Everybody else would lose.
You remember, I'm going back to Heisei vs. Showa, where they had the vote, the fan vote. Who do you want to win, Heisei or Showa? And Showa was just destroying Heisei for the longest time. And then at the very end, it was oh, Heisei just managed to pull through somehow, guys. Guess Heisei's gonna win. Sorry, love Toei.
I remember that exactly. I remember shitting myself with pure rage.
Well, both endings were bad, so...
Yeah.
It's not like we're
Nothing
missing.
would have been saved
Yeah.
except that fucking flower. That would have been saved either
God,
way.
Don't bring up the flower.
That flower is more important than friendship and love.
That flower is more important than not taking a rider kick right to the chest, apparently. Shit.
What the fuck?
So is that all we got this episode?
Yeah, I wanted to point out, last episode I made a bunch of jokes about getting emails from people that weren't questions, and then we got, like, I don't know, half the emails that we usually do. I love getting emails from you guys that aren't questions. And sometimes we'll even talk about them on the show. I want that shit. Send them.
Yeah.
You want to talk to us? Send something in.
If it's a quick comment, we'll read it. We'll read it out on the show. But
Yeah,
if you're sending us your thoughts on something larger, we'll read that shit and we might respond to it. But we probably won't read it on the podcast. That's how it is.
We might actually mention it when we're going over something as
Yeah.
well. Like if we bring up a point that's relevant to that, we could be like, yeah, and like our listener blah 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 said that Liam chugs cocks.
How would they even find that out? Okay, I've covered my tracks for the last 10 years.
10 years of sucking dick. The Liam Soji story.
Ugh.
Yeah, send in all that shit. All your hate mail, all your love mail,
We
all
love it.
your hate fuck mail. Send that in.
We're desperate. Please just give it. Just give us
if
your shopping list. We'll take anything.
If you don't want to send us an email, you can follow us on Twitter. It's at Rider Club Radio. You can not as well.
No,
Fuck you.
Don't stop giving them the option, Jeff. Follow us on Twitter.
If you don't follow us on Twitter, you're not cool.
Yeah, exactly. You're not fun.
I'm gonna have the kids at your school beat you up.
Oh, he can do that too.
They're like, this motherfucker that does Rider Club Radio said that we need to beat the shit out of you.
Or else we're not real Rider fans. Look, okay. Send us a tweet. Follow us on Twitter at Rider Club Radio. Shoot us an email. That's riderclubradio@gmail.com. Tweet at us.
Or don't.
No!
I don't give a fuck.
You're just doing that to bother me now.
I really am.
Every time a fan interacts with us in any way, it gives us a lot of joy. I love it, personally. So,
It's actually my favorite part. I hate actually talking to Liam, but talking to you guys is great.
yeah, a lot of people don't like talking to me, but you'll put up with it if you get to have fans, right?
Yeah, I need to have people who enjoy me in life.
Yeah.
Because no one does in person.
Oh. So, away from Jeff's life for a little second, yeah, interact with us. We love it. We'll interact with you right back. We love to tweet. Jeff makes hilarious tweets, and I make really shitty tweets, so you get to enjoy both of them. Both
So
sides of that
anytime
coin.
it's a bad tweet, just think it's Liam. Anytime it's a good tweet, just think it's me.
Yeah, you'll know.
Even if it's not. I want to be the one that always does the good tweets, so whatever.
Jeff will be the twit guy.
That's what they always called me.
Ugh. Anyways, see you next week.
Have a good one.